You're listening to the RMPodcast, the official podcast of Red Moon Productions. Here are your hosts, Brandon Davidson, Keith Cheatham, and Sean Sebastian. Enjoy.
Episode of the Red Moon Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian,
and Keith Cheatham. And of course, guys, we're back with all the latest breaking news in Hollywood on the Red Moon Podcast.
And there's quite a bit this week.
There is.
Yeah.
In fact, we thought moving to our new night here on Tuesdays,
We thought we were going to miss all the news.
we thought we were going to miss it and be out for the rest of the week, but we actually got a piece of breaking news just before we had the headlines crunched and ready for the show. Thank God I was able to put it in there. So, yeah, we've got some obviously late-breaking news with Disney's CEO Bob Iger stepping down.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
But we also have some other news. No, we're not talking about the Harvey Weinstein conviction just yet.
No.
We're going to get to that.
We got all kinds of news.
So much. But
Like, what are we going to do with all this news?
yeah, but yeah, exactly. There's just so much.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, since we moved to Tuesdays, it's been a
We're just going to have to pull it
Yeah.
off like a Band-Aid and talk about it. That's all we can do.
absolutely.
do it.
And you know what I love about being on Tuesday nights? Is
No.
that last week we launched our website. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm just saying it has. So far, Tuesdays have been kind to us. So we launched our website last week. Go check out our latest reviews on there. We have our latest review coming up shortly. It
Yeah.
actually has something to do a little bit with Netflix.
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
that's it.
We
That's in our
didn't
headlines,
catch-
too.
We didn't catch Call of the Wild. Why are
We
you
didn't-
laughing?
I would have rather caught the flu.
Actually, here's the thing. I mean, not to get to spoil the review a bit, but
Oh, you got the volume
Turn
up
your
on
it
your
volume
was
phone.
down. No, because
Oh.
I turned it down. You saw it. That's weird because you saw me turn it down.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't see
It's
it.
Tim Cook again. He's getting
Yeah.
us with these Apple products.
Yeah.
Because we mentioned it. And I was like, yeah, it's turned down now.
But what were you saying
It's on
now?
silence, too.
With the Call of the Wild?
Oh, it was just I almost rather would have gone to see that because it has better reviews than
Yeah.
the movie we actually reviewed.
That's
Well,
so-
and that's true.
That's true.
I was gonna say sometimes sitting in the comfort of your own home is
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
Right.
But the only reason we didn't really go see Call of the Wild was we were anticipating it to be kind of like Sonic. So here's the thing.
Mm.
Sonic remained at number 1 at the box office.
No,
Yeah.
Sonic's been doing well.
It's been
Deserve-
doing really
deservedly
good.
so.
And like we reviewed last week, 3 out of 4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
However, might we say the same thing about Call of the Wild because we were dissing Sonic for the longest
Yeah.
and it's showing positive scores on Rotten Tomatoes.
Sonic was a surprise.
So
sure.
what about Call of the Wild? Why are we dissing it?
It's a terrible movie. There's nothing you can. I'm gonna watch it, but there's nothing. I've already seen the CGI dog. It's like they fixed Sonic CGI.
Well, here's the thing. Sonic CGI was better before they fixed it than the dog in Call of the Wild.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
That's true.
I don't know about that.
No,
Gotta
no.
go fast. I don't know.
That was the fake
I know
one.
it's
That was
Sonic,
the-
but
yeah,
still,
still.
I don't know. That's the original Sonic was pretty bad.
He looked bad in comparison to who Sonic should be, but the CGI still looked more real.
True.
Than the
Well,
dog in
and
Call of the
first off,
Wild.
the Call of the Wild is more of a you've read some reviews.
They
but
said it's a family film, which the Call of the Wild shouldn't be anyways. So
There
that's
you
why
go.
I'm confused
the
about it.
First, I mean, the latest iteration of Call of the Wild was a family film. Then Disney made that one with Ethan Hawke,
I
which
don't like-
it wasn't a terrible movie, but
I feel like Call of the Wild is not really a novel that translates well to screen anyways
that's
without
the-
making changes.
that's
so
the
it's
thing.
like
They're
why
not true
do
to
it?
the they're not
I
true to
don't
the
know.
source material.
But
Ever,
okay,
but
so instead, what we decided to do was look at Netflix's new feature
Yeah.
of promoting their top 10 most
their
popular
daily
films.
top 10. Yeah.
Daily?
It
I didn't know it was daily.
It says here's today's top 10, like what's being watched the most.
Wow.
And
Wow.
you know what's being watched the second most today?
Oh gosh. Well, we're about to find out because
It's not the most watched.
look, we've had a string, and we usually do this. We have
Yeah.
a string
Mhm.
of good movies, but then comes
We know a haunted house is the 10th most watched thing on Netflix
yeah, actually,
today.
that was kind of. Actually, we had a joke because we were
Yeah.
sitting there thinking we need to get on the bandwagon, get on Reddit, And if Red Moon had a Reddit, oh, that's so good. Red Moon Reddit. That just
The Red Moon
Oh,
Reddit.
that just flowed. I like that.
We'll do that 2 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. That's when it'll be ready. But if we had one, we should just. I'm telling you right now, I'm sending out the call to everybody who's listening, all 5 of our viewers. But the fact is if we could get the internets together, get the Googles on board, what we should do is completely destroy the top 10 most popular films on Netflix with just the most god-awful movies on there.
Yeah.
I mean, they already got number 2. Number 2 today is one of the worst movies I've seen in a while.
I think we need to get
they're already on track.
we need to get Tremors 3 with the ass blasters at the number 1 spot.
Honestly, I think
On Netflix.
it would be a trend if we could get all the Tremors movies.
Did you
In
know
the
that-
top 10
did you know
spot?
there's
Yes.
5 of them now?
There's more than 5.
Are
Yeah.
you sure? Is there really?
Yeah, yeah.
What was
I have to
wasn't
look
5 Back to Perfection, or was that 4?
One of them, I think Back
'Cause
to
it was-
Perfection was 4. One of them took place in like the Old West or whatever. It was weird. Like
Oh yeah, one
way
of
back
them
in.
brought back what's his name from Family Ties?
Well, he's in all of them.
Yeah,
he's
but what's
in-
his name? I forget his name.
I don't know.
Oh
He's
God,
Bert.
he's a Kentuckian.
He's
Bert, yeah, but he's
Bert,
in all of them. Yeah,
But he comes back in it. And it's on Netflix. It was like a Netflix, straight to Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Or straight to DVD. And it
there are
appeared.
7. There's a-
7?
Oh no! The 7th is the next one coming. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
It's called Tremors Island Fury. They're gonna be on an island now.
Nice.
Yes.
in the tropics.
Uh,
All I can say is if we can put
Back to
all-
Perfection was the 3rd one. The
Oh,
Legend
wow.
Begins was the 4th one. That was the one where like, it was like a western, like they were like back in like the
Oh yeah, the when it began.
yeah. And then Tremors 5 Bloodlines, and then Tremors A Cold Day in Hell was the 6th one.
Oh, I haven't
Okay,
seen that one.
that was
Yeah, I
the-
saw
that's the
Bloodlines.
Arctic-
That's
That's
the
the
one I
Arctic
just saw
one.
the preview for.
Yeah.
is that
It came
one,
out in 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think what we need to do is get all 7 of those to be the top.
Well, the 7th
7.
one's not out yet. It's
well,
not out
when
yet.
it does come out,
the
that's our
10
goal.
the top 10's different now.
Oh, it
because
is.
Better Call Saul is number 10 now.
Okay.
Oh, so
that
So
was
that's-
number
so they,
6.
yeah,
That other one
they
fell off.
fluctuate.
It
I
would be
guess.
constantly changing. I mean, based on what
Right.
people are
this
watching.
is today.
But I
So-
thought it was gonna
so-
depend.
Oh, is that a list?
Yeah.
This is a list. Yeah.
Oh, see, but that depends on when that list was published. Because when we looked at it, it would have been the live.
Oh no, this says today.
I know, but if it's because when we looked at it earlier, like today, we looked at it today. Better Call Saul was number 3.
Oh really?
So it has to constantly
The
be
question
changing.
is,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of a cool feature. I think it's putting Netflix out there
Yeah.
to compete with all the guff they've gotten over not presenting. I mean, it's still not streaming numbers.
Yeah.
You know,
this
there's
is
no,
what people are watching the most right now.
and we already know from the report that we saw earlier. Was it early this year that they changed the way in which a view is counted?
Yeah.
So it's like we
Yeah.
already know that some of their viewing numbers are fluff anyway. But this at least tells
how
you
many
what
people were
is-
actually watching all of
exactly.
the last thing he wanted.
And honestly,
Yeah.
that's kind of the question that I have right now with even the top 10. It's like, for one, is it day to day, or does it fluctuate in real time? And is it based off whether or not the people finish what it is they're watching?
Yeah.
Or is it just, are they click and play because they're interested and it just bumps it up the list?
Mm.
Because I can tell you right now, most Netflix originals get bumped up to
I
the
don't
top
see
of the
very many
list.
people like finishing
This movie.
This movie?
It's very
No.
hard to watch the whole thing.
I think your review kind of sums it up.
Yeah, I think we.
And I think we
let's
should
get
just,
into it,
yeah,
yeah.
let's just dive right into the review. Here is our review this week.
What happens when you line up an all-star cast with the director of a film that received multiple Oscar nominations and tell a heavy-hitting tale of corruption and one journalist's attempt to blow the cover off the entire thing? If you're Netflix, you get a confusing, jumbled mess. From Dee Reese, director of critically acclaimed Mudbound, The Last Thing He Wanted, starring Anne Hathaway, Ben Affleck, and Willem Dafoe, sounds like a film that should have been a massive success. Unfortunately, it's a meandering mess that is a chore to sit through. Anne Hathaway plays Alina McMahon, a journalist trying to uncover the truth behind the U.S. government's involvement in the Salvadorian and Nicaraguan civil wars going on during the 80s. The film itself, though based on historical events, is a fictional story based on a novel of the same name. When Alina's estranged father, played by Willem Dafoe, comes back into the picture due to failing health, he convinces her to complete an arms deal he has in the works. In the process of finishing his deal and snooping out a story, Alina discovers the rabbit hole goes much deeper with the connection between her father's deal and the government funding of the Contra. How these things come to be and connect, however, never makes any sense. The film tries hard, painfully and obviously way too hard, to be a smart political thriller that keeps you on your toes, playing fast and loose with the plot in an attempt to pull off some major twist that will make everything click into place. This never happens. Nothing ever clicks into place, and the characters' motivations never make any sense. Anne Hathaway, an average person and journalist, continues to dig into something that is way over her head. Never erring on the side of caution, she instead tries to throw around weight and give off the persona of a strong-willed woman able to accomplish anything thrown at her. Instead, she comes off as a stereotype and an idiot, more likely to get herself killed for threatening those who care very little about her life. Writing and dialogue is atrocious, and the emotional resonance is zero. From the very beginning, the story comes off as muddled, and despite the film's ending, which tries to explain how everything connects, none of it makes sense, as most of the characters' decision-making in the film is outside the realm of any rational human being. When you have a movie full of unlikable characters with no emotional draw, who only do things because the plot needs them to, and not because it's what would make sense or be in the best interest of said characters, then you've created something too ridiculous to take seriously. Add on top of the fact that you can no longer be invested in the story due to these things, meandering dialogue and exhibition that goes nowhere, and you get a movie that is painful to get through. It's not a horribly made movie, but there are movies with much worse production value that are much more entertaining. As is, sitting through the entirety of The Last Thing He Wanted is the last thing anyone will want to do. I give The Last Thing He Wanted 1 out of 4 stars.
Well, there you have it.
Oh, that's
1
terrible.
out of 4 stars for atrocious. Here's the funny thing is, I got on my Netflix app during the review to look at the current top 10 movies in the U.S. today.
Yeah.
The Last Thing He Wanted has moved from the number 2 spot
Oh, here we come.
to number 1.
Here it is.
But the greatest thing is, A Haunted House has moved from number 10 to number 3.
Yes. Let's keep pushing it.
Somebody out there is actively pushing for A Haunted House to get that number 1 spot.
By the time everybody turns off The Last Thing He Wanted, they're gonna go and watch A Haunted House.
I mean, A Haunted House
And
is
they need to
probably a
watch
much
that.
better movie, honestly.
no doubt.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this because
Let's talk
first
about
off,
The Last
their
Thing He Wanted.
algorithm sucks because, or it may not suck, but I'll tell you the placement
But the
of
fact
this
that it
row.
constantly changes and
Yeah,
yeah, you can't find.
you can't find it. That's my biggest
It's
problem.
hard to find they have just like they have genres like horror or like comedy.
Yeah.
They have like a section that's supposed to be the top 10 movies.
You would
And
think that would
sometimes-
be up at the top.
Sometimes it's
of
not
the
on there
list.
at all. I tell Brandon, like, it's rare now, but used to there'd be times I'd log into Netflix and the continue watching segment wasn't there. So I'd be like, I
Yeah.
had to actually Google what I wanted to watch to continue watching it. I'm like, or not Google, but like search it in the Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is stupid. That should always be there.
Well, here's what that's what I don't understand is you have like it made sense to me when they had their originals
Mhm.
when you would scroll down and it had like the block of originals but
Right.
it was a little bit bigger.
Yep.
It's like I understand you're wanting to advertise.
Then you have your list.
yeah, you have your list,
And
but
then it should be continue watching.
yes, and it should be that way.
Yeah.
Well, and even their advertisement at the very top when you first enter the app of like
Mhm.
the latest thing that Netflix
Yeah.
releases. Why not scroll down from that and you have your top 10 right there?
Yeah. No,
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
And the other thing that's weird about it is it's different on the different app you get on. Like if I'm looking
Yes.
at it on my Roku, it's a completely different layout than it is on the app that's built into the TV.
Oh yeah, they're not gonna
or
put
my
this.
iPhone.
They're not gonna.
Yeah.
If it's like the old Roku, you got like app version 1.2.
No, I mean
It's
Roku-
not gonna
I've got
update.
the Ultra. They update it pretty
said
regularly.
Roku's pretty
but
popular
it's
now,
just
yeah.
different.
But I know
It's
my
still
parents
different.
have stuck with like Roku
Oh,
version
they've
1.
old, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It ain't gonna.
Well, that's like
Yeah,
I
that's
have
not
my
gonna
PlayStation 3 like hooked up to the TV in my bedroom currently, like to watch random stuff at night, and I hate it now because all of the streaming apps on it are so outdated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to like watch and like
You
it,
can't.
it just
It's almost.
sometimes it'll freeze.
It's unbearable. Yeah.
And it's like I know it's not the PlayStation, it's just the fact that they haven't like kept,
updated the app.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this movie. 1 out of 4 stars. It's
Well,
been a
no.
while
It's the
since
last
we've had
thing
a
I wanna do
bad,
is talk
bad
about this
movie.
movie.
You know, it's very rare that I can sit down and watch a movie and by the end of it not like understand like I mean I kind of understand it, but I only understand it based off of like
You only
I guess
understand it as
conjecture,
much
like-
as she lets you understand.
yeah,
it.
I'm like
I mean, it's not a.
it's not coherent. Like the decisions make no sense. I mean, Anne Hathaway's trapped in Salvador at first, and then Nicaragua, like with all these like arms dealers and drug dealers, like trying to get to the bottom of this story. And it's like
Yes.
she's constantly like threatening them,
Trying to
like,
get to the
"Well, I'm
bottom
gonna."
of
Like,
this movie.
oh, she threatens that one guy over the
Yes.
phone, like, "Well, if you don't do this, I'm gonna call like the DEA." And it's like, you're in this country like with no safety net, and you're not you're
You're
just
threatening an arms dealer
like-
that you don't even know or trust.
Yeah.
It's like not only that, just from the very outset, and we were talking about it obviously before we hit record.
Yeah.
But the opening sequence is somewhat entertaining, but the description of like she's narrating
from the very
Anne
opening
Hathaway's
monologue.
narrating it.
I'm like, this
It was
is
just so muddied.
Yeah.
It was just convoluted.
she's just drolling on, and it didn't like. I got it. It was trying to build in the theme of her, like she's going to find the answers, but it's like you could have gotten that a lot faster than this like 5-minute monologue
Yes.
of nothing, only to wind up telling you she's a reporter investigating like the government's involvement with Salvador and Nicaragua, and it's like, okay, we could have gotten to that a lot faster than we did.
Yeah.
Agreed. Sean, what about you? You had some major issues.
I gave it 1 star as well, just because we don't give 0. So
Oh, you can.
can I give it 0?
yeah.
You can give it a total bomb.
Yeah, a 0 star is a bomb. Yeah.
Oh, he
Yeah.
may be rethinking his critique right now.
I'll say I'll stick with 1.
You can even do a half star.
I'll stick with 1 because I told you guys off before we started recording. I liked some of the cinematography.
Yeah.
I liked the warm like color palette.
Yeah.
Like that they went with the color grading. That's about all I liked.
Yeah.
Was the technical aspects of the movie. Looks beautiful in 4K HDR, all that kind of stuff. But you have a film with Anne Hathaway, Ben Affleck, Willem Dafoe,
Yeah.
and Rosie.
Yes.
Well, I don't even. Don't
Yeah,
get me
you
started on
can't
Rosie
count
Perez. I
You can't
told you
count
how I
Rosie
felt about her
Perez.
when we did Birds of Prey. But you've got 3 like heavy hitters in Hollywood in this film, and they do absolutely jack squat for this film.
Yep.
Like I would like to chalk it up to poor direction, but
It has to be.
their performances just simply aren't that good.
I mean, I like Willem Dafoe, but
Willem Dafoe can play a crazy guy
Yeah.
very well, but the depth of his character
Agreed.
was
Not there.
non-existent.
well,
Yeah.
and that was for all the characters.
That's the
across
thing.
board.
They're
That
doing
was-
that
good
comes from the writing.
performances for
Yeah.
characters that suck.
Yep.
And I'd say I think his was the only good performance. I didn't care for Hathaway's or Ben Affleck was terrible. He was so monotone and had
Yeah.
the same facial expression throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, it's like he was just like, I'm just here for a paycheck. That's
Yeah.
like all
Yeah.
it really amounted to.
Well, and I just thought, yeah, for the most part, even like the progression, the pacing, you had an issue throughout the entire film where they would introduce new plot developments, and yet they would never wrap up old ones.
Right.
Well, they were
You
trying
never-
to
they
make all
would-
these twists. and-
Well, yeah, and
like
but
they were
they
trying
never
to string
strung
you
together.
along, but it didn't
literally felt like it was a bunch of short stories that, again, even when they all were placed together, none led from one to the other, and
No.
none of them matched up.
No, the whole film doesn't
And-
make sense. Like,
No.
it's literally, it does not make any sense. And there were so many moments where I'm like you. First of all, it took me everything I had to get through the first hour of the movie.
Yes.
The first hour of the movie is one of the most boring
Took me
hours
everything I had to
in
get
film.
through the entire
Yes.
film.
Yeah, but I felt like after the first hour, it finally started. It shouldn't take an hour to pick up.
No.
But it finally started to give me like this sense of like, okay, maybe there is a story here or a plot here.
Right.
And then right when you're about to, be satisfied with where it's going, it changes directions.
Yeah.
And you're never fully wrapped up the previous direction it was going. So you're left unsatisfied there, and then you're not satisfied with the new direction it's going. And then you said it's supposed to wrap up at the end and all kind of fall together, but it just doesn't. There's things at the end that are left completely unexplained.
Yeah.
That you don't even really understand what you just saw.
Well, and that was the biggest problem of all is from each plot element, it would try to use some kind of crescendo to try to lead you to
No.
the next plot device.
Yeah.
For instance, just the scene of her doing this favor for her father, getting mixed up in just trafficking arms anyway.
Which
when
was-
she's
made no sense.
it made no sense as to why. I mean, she has no connection to her father, even an ailing father coming in who's estranged and hasn't really been there.
Yeah.
To now all of a sudden she's willing to risk her life
And her career
and
as
her
a journalist.
journalistic
Yeah.
truth. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing is it's mind blowing because even her character decisions are just all over the place in terms of
Yeah.
and you don't even think about it being this manic person who's just creating these decisions on a whim.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It literally is she just there's no motivation
Yeah.
behind why she chooses to do what she does, and that's why you're led from the moment she's supposed to get payment for delivering these arms, And then she finds out all of a sudden that the payment isn't cash; it's in the form of cocaine.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden she wants to get to the bottom of where's the cash?
Yeah.
And it's like
So she runs off.
she runs off in this foreign country
And never finds
Into
out
the
any more
woods.
information than what she really had. I mean, she eventually does when she runs into
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, but that's like long
Yeah.
after her
Yeah.
decision to stay, and like it's
and even the characters that are in this film that they try to use as a way of proving I don't know, keeping them interesting and keeping them legitimate and believable. You don't believe any of them.
No.
They're all typecast or
Yep.
stereotypical, and even then, they're just not even that good of a stereotype.
and
I
I
would have
felt that way
rather
about,
them
like-
just go overboard and really commit. And Anne Hathaway, it's like she tries too hard. She
Yeah.
tries way too hard to be. I mean, I brought up Jessica Chastain in Zero Dark 30. Absolutely wonderful. Understanding of where she comes from in the beginning of like this young person and gets harder and harder throughout the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so believable.
But she's also
Progression,
intelligent. It's like
Oh,
she makes.
yeah.
It's like she's a tough woman, but she's making decisions and using like her intelligence to get what she wants. Whereas Anne Hathaway's just yelling at people, and it's like, no, you like that would get you killed. Like she's
Yes.
just randomly
Yeah.
yelling at people like a child. Like, well, you have to do this. It's
I'm
like,
an
no,
American
they don't.
and I say you have to do it. So you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's like they
It
don't
doesn't
care.
work that way in other countries.
No.
You know,
And I
you're
felt
not
like-
special.
I felt like that way about like, I mean, even like with like the twist. It's like I felt like the twist only happened like because they wanted a twist. It's like
Yes.
in order to make the twist work, to reveal like the certain things they revealed about Ben Affleck's character and then that the black gentleman that was with her throughout most of the film is like these characters had to make decisions to not act on certain things
Yes.
until the final moment of the film. And it's like, no, they wouldn't wait until the end of the film to make the
They
decision.
would have made it back
Yeah,
then.
they would have done what they needed to do
Yeah.
a long time ago, and it ruined the twist because it's like it's illogical.
Okay, and that's the other thing. For whatever part of this movie you can even try to conceivably understand.
Yeah.
The fact is that for whatever part you do get, if you start to try to understand it and follow along, you can see the twist coming.
Oh yeah,
You know exactly what's happening, and I say that loosely because you really don't. You don't know what's going on in this entire film.
No,
it's
you
a
think
jumbled
you know
mess.
what's happening, but
And then but it's easy by the time the twist reveals itself. Okay, yeah, I knew
Yeah.
that was happening, 30 minutes ago. And honestly, we could have wrapped it up then. It still would have been a crap film.
Yeah.
But
but it would have made more sense.
it would have made more sense. And it actually, it would have followed along without all the monotony. And just an absolute, it's been a long time
I
since
mean,
I've
truthfully,
seen an awful
the
film
final
like this.
scene of the film, I think, is just it's the best moment
Oh,
of
yeah.
the whole thing.
yeah. I mean, we don't want you to watch the movie. We
Just
just
watch
want
the
you to
end.
like just cut to the end.
Just skim through it.
Yeah, I'd say like the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
If you watch the last even 5 minutes, you'll get more story and plot than you do in the whole 2
Yeah.
hours.
Well, that's when it all
comes
Yeah,
together.
that's when it
Well,
reveals
that's when it
itself.
all is supposed to come. It
supposed
doesn't
to,
come
yeah.
together,
No,
but
I
that's when
get
it
you.
was supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Uh,
it's been a while since I've seen a movie that
It fails
I
so
wouldn't
hard.
it
Mhm.
fails. I wouldn't recommend it. But not only that, it's not even horribly bad entertaining.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
It's like
boring.
I have no desire to ever watch this movie again because
Yeah.
like it just
No.
it's
But
dull.
the funny thing is, and it's going to lead us into one of our topics, is like
Yeah.
when I suggested that this is the movie we should review because we didn't want to go see Call of the Wild, this was number 2 in the U.S. on Netflix.
Mhm.
That's what it says, like at the top by the,
Yeah.
Yep.
by the title, number 2.
now
in
number
America.
1.
Yeah, and now it's number 1, and I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I
How is
think
that
I think I
possible?
think
Because it's not
It's-
rated number. It's like that's
Yeah.
how many people are
First-
watching
First
it.
of all, let's
Yeah.
just this movie has a 5%
Yeah.
On
on
Rotten
Rotten
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. It has a 0% from audience.
And it also
well, that's
depends
because
on
none have
7
watched
people
it.
have.
Oh, seven.
seven people have reviewed it, and so far it has 0
Zero.
on Rotten. But
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
the reason it's number 2 is because of like the way Netflix new algorithm. It's like if somebody clicks play for 30 seconds, it's like that's a watch. So
true.
now it's
Yeah.
the number 2 watch thing on Netflix.
And they
'cause
get
enough
about
people
they
were-
get about 30 seconds into that opening monologue and turn
we're
it
like,
off.
yeah.
I honestly thought before I even read the little, I know it gives you a little blurb by the title,
Yeah.
but before I saw Anne Hathaway, Ben Affleck, and I thought, is this some like, it's in February, it's like, is this some like husband wife, divorcee flick or something?
Oh yeah.
And then Willem Dafoe gets involved
That,
somehow.
that would be the last thing he wanted.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Divorce.
was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, well, maybe that's what this is.
Yeah.
And it took a turn
Oh, yeah.
turn towards they could have done that. Because the thing is the main reason people are even tuning in to this is
Mhm.
because of Ben Affleck,
names.
Anne Hathaway,
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like it's
They see those names and
They
they
see
see
those
the
names
director
and
of
they
Mudbound.
expect.
Yeah.
It's like
And
Mudbound was a terrific
genuinely
movie.
good movie. Yes.
In fact, if you have Netflix, watch that.
Yeah.
That's on
Yeah.
there. I mean,
Let's make that number one.
It's
tonight.
funny because you see like really good directors sometimes that have like this string of great movies and then they take this weird left turn and they stop make like
Lady in the
M.
Water.
Night Shyamalan. Yeah,
Yes.
M. Night Shyamalan's great.
Yeah.
But it's like it only took her one movie to go crazy. It's like she made Mudbound and after that it's like here we are.
She did. She thought that she could just, I guess, go from just being Oscar nominated, which
know it.
only for cinematography.
Which I mean, to me, even
Well,
the
it got 4, but yeah.
Oh,
the film itself-
okay.
even
it had,
the
I
idea
think,
for the story is over. We've seen, dozens of movies about the Reagan era.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to see another movie about Reagan and arms dealing.
Well, it had nothing.
I don't need to
new
see
s-
another one. And yes, there's nothing new there. If you've seen Salvador with James Woods, you've seen everything you need to know about that.
Well, even American Made we talked about with
American
Tom Cruise
Made
was
was
a
a
much
great
better.
movie. Yes.
And
Way
those
better.
and I mean, American Made was actually based on a true story.
yeah.
Like, this has
this
like
is not.
it's like
Other than the
historic event.
yeah, other than the historic
but
event.
Well, and that's
The
what was
story of her-
interesting. Well, that's what could have been interesting about
Yeah.
it. What I like is, I mean, you think about what Tarantino's done with things like Inglourious Bastards,
Yeah.
and it's
or
like
even Once Upon
a Time in Hollywood,
Yeah.
and it's like you take films and you have little moments of, I mean, he completely changes history, but I like movies like this where they're rooted in reality and they have a fictional story of, well, this could
Well,
have
I mean,
happened.
Look at
Yeah.
Forrest
And
Gump.
that-
He
Forrest
goes
Gump,
through
yes.
events through
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
He kind of walks in and out of historical moments, which
Yes.
is that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
Is it's just like I mean I was watching that back in 1973. I know he wasn't there,
Right.
but still, it's funny to see him.
It's funny to see an
fumble his way in and out of history,
Right.
and it's entertaining to see that. And this movie was just there's really nothing at all entertaining about the story or the characters or anything. It's
Nothing.
just a pointless movie.
Well, and I think what is mostly problematic too is that this is based on a book, and I haven't read the book, but I'm guessing because it might have been popular, or at least it might have been a decent
Or the
fictional
book may have
piece.
been more fleshed out.
It-
It made
exa-
sense.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt it has to be. If it had the amount of dense material
Mhm.
that they try to convey in this, I mean, they do a shoddy job.
Yep.
And I think that this is one of those problems where they they crammed a bunch of like sentences together that sounded like they meant something, and they were hoping that would sell the BS to the audience
Yeah.
enough, and it doesn't.
That's
Yeah.
literally like
It
the whole
doesn't.
movie is them rambling on and spitting out jargon that like makes them sound like they know what they're talking about, but really it means nothing. Yeah, I
Yep.
felt like that about the entire movie.
Absolutely.
okay.
All right,
Let's
guys.
get off of it.
Yeah, 1 out of 4 stars. Not worth any more of our time.
It's done.
Don't waste your time.
Don't see it.
We
Don't
wasted
watch
too
it.
much time with it for your sake. Okay,
Mhm.
we wasted it for your sake.
It's not worth it.
But you can always check out the latest review
Yeah, you can.
Mhm.
on our website, redmoonproductions.com. Go check it out. It'll be up after the show, obviously, but check out all of our past reviews on there. Wonderful, wonderful website, must say.
Yeah, I don't know who did that. Whoever did that.
redmoonproductions.com.
Hashtag now.
Hashtag today.
Yeah.
Right now.
The only right now
We're-
is right now.
The only right now is right now. We're switching to headlines, okay? We've got
Yeah.
a couple in queue. But
Mm.
before we get to the biggest news that broke just before our show
Yeah.
tonight,
Mm-hmm.
we kind of want to talk about, obviously, Mr. Weinstein being convicted.
Harvey.
Not much to say. Rough
Oh,
around the
horny
edges.
Harvey.
Rough around the edges, but a heart of gold.
Yeah.
As Mr. Richard Gere put it in an
Oh.
acceptance speech.
So many,
Uh,
so many. Just like the whole compilation video of all these people
Oh, yeah.
praising Harvey
He's such
Weinstein.
a lovable person.
They just, and it's that's what's crazy about it all is to realize that so many people like had to have known what was going on.
They
like,
did
to some
know.
extent.
Oh, they knew.
and
They
it's
knew.
like
And they
the
banked
fact
off
that
of it.
because it didn't do anything for them back then to do anything because it didn't further their agendas in any way back then, they let it slide. But now because it does promote like what they want to promote now, it's like now we attack Harvey.
Well,
and,
and
I
then,
mean, and he deserves everything he gets.
He
I'm
does.
not saying he doesn't.
And it's been told now.
It's just
so
the
he-
two-facedness of Hollywood
Of
that's
course.
sickening.
And I think that's here's the thing. He's been convicted on 2 counts.
Yes.
One of third-degree rape and the other of a criminal sexual act.
Mm-hmm.
One of which the third-degree rape can get him up to 4 years in prison.
Mhm.
The criminal sexual act can get him up to 25 years.
Mhm.
So he
But
did
no
not
less-
get convicted of the
No,
not first-
predatorial.
No, he
thing.
did not.
No.
Wow.
And he needed
And he did not
needed
get
the
convicted of first-degree rape either, because he was charged with that, but he didn't get convicted.
And that
of
would if he would have been charged in that third charge.
That would have been like 25 to life
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
something.
it would have
like
been
that.
life.
Life, yeah.
It would have been up to life in prison. for that.
Based on everything I've heard though so far, I agree with the third-degree rape charge over the first-degree. Because it doesn't sound like he violently, like, it sounded like, yes, he coerced people against their will,
Yeah.
but he did not, like, hold them down forcefully. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I get why that charge, and it doesn't make it right either
No,
way.
no,
No,
it's not.
yeah,
We're
it's
saying rape
still-
is rape,
Yeah.
but still,
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
there
I
is a
understand
difference
the
in the law.
charge,
Yeah.
but that's the thing is he's now going to be sentenced on March 11th.
Yeah.
So obviously we'll bring you an update when we find out his sentencing.
When he's sentenced.
yeah, they're
He,
going to appeal it. I mean, they,
oh, of
he can
course
still
they
appeal
will.
Oh, he's
it.
still saying he's
Yeah.
innocent, so
Yeah.
of course he's going to appeal it. But
Yeah.
And of course his prosecutors are sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, his defense attorneys
Yeah.
are saying, "Oh, we can get this appealed easily."
Yeah.
So
he has the money to keep throwing at it, and to
Oh, of
keep it in
course he
court, and to
does.
keep it in litigation. So
They need to
I-
make sure whatever cell they put him in does not have sheets on the bed. Is all I'm saying.
Well,
I don't-
I think we all
I
know
mean,
that.
they said Hillary Clinton
Yeah.
praised the fact that he got convicted, so, you know.
Well, yeah,
Oh, he's got a target on his back.
Yeah.
that's an easy place to kill him.
She knows, it's like, send him to prison.
Yeah.
Do it.
Send him to the one where the cameras don't work and the guards fall asleep.
But I mean, I think yes, he deserves the conviction. I mean, he's
Yes, no
obviously
doubt.
for a long time gotten away with a lot of terrible
Well,
things.
and that brings me back to what we were originally starting off with this story. I think this is not, the prosecutor kind of came out in a victory speech, as he should have, with the conviction,
Yeah.
saying that this is obviously a sign of the times changing, that this behavior can't be tolerated. But I think this is a bigger mar on more than just Weinstein. This is Hollywood as it has been done. And I'm sorry, but go and look up Harvey Weinstein thank yous on YouTube, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
sickening
Oh, yeah.
to think
Yeah.
that for so long there were people who may have innocently not known, but
all the
so
biggest
many
people
who knew.
in Hollywood, so many
Oh, yeah.
huge
Meryl Streep's.
politicians. I mean, it's not even just
Oh,
the
yeah.
people in Hollywood. He was friends with all kinds of major politicians on both
Daniel
sides of the aisle.
Day-Lewis, all of them,
So-
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
You have all the heavy hitters praising him at one time or another. Gwyneth
Yeah.
Paltrow.
That's what I was saying.
Well,
the
he
weirdest
started-
thing about
he
it
started
is
the
all the
careers.
women that
Yes.
praised him.
Yes.
You would think that they would almost throw up in their mouth
Yeah.
at the thought of having to praise him after he probably did things to them
To give
so
them a
that they
career,
could get
yeah.
a career. Yeah, and that for them to
Mhm.
sit up there and on their soapbox and
Yep.
call him a hero,
Yeah,
and then it's just
it's
insane.
sickening, but
Yeah.
it's nice to see justice served. We will see it served on March 11th. We'll give you updates then, but I think this is a bigger black mark on Hollywood and hopefully a sign of things to change in that industry. Because truthfully, if anybody wants to rant and rave the most
Times they are
about
changing, man.
times
Mhm.
changing and needing to change, Hollywood has a pretty big mouthpiece, but they hardly ever.
Oh, they don't put their money where their mouth is.
They never do.
They- they-
Hopefully this is what I doubt it. I doubt it's going to change much.
I
But
was gonna say something, but I
Uh-oh.
can't say it now.
oh no,
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
mouthpiece.
I was gonna say Harvey Weinstein puts his mouth where his money is.
No. Oh,
But,
we can only laugh because it's better to laugh than to cry.
Well, we'll
But-
see what
Wow.
type of adventures he gets into in prison.
Yeah.
If he winds up, I mean, hopefully.
well, he's
yes,
already.
but-
They asked for a no bond and for him to go free because he's
Chest
ill and
pains.
having chest
Yeah.
pains.
Yeah,
So they're
He's
he's
gotta
sending
be
be
having
him-
rectal
Zach.
pains pretty soon.
Actually, that might be how they get to him. It's like not the sheets this time. It's like he had a heart attack. It's like Harvey was found this morning.
See, but I'm thinking not heart.
Hard.
attack.
Hard attack. Oh gosh.
Oh man! All right,
For shame.
all right. Let's get on to some of the biggest breaking news,
Some
of course.
some more
this
shocking
evening.
news, honestly.
More
Yeah.
shocking news.
Yeah.
Surprising
Really-
in that people didn't see it coming at least
No.
this soon.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean it's incredible that we were just talking about before. Again, we went live. How much Bob Iger has done in his time and his tenure at Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He even wrote the book that just released last year about the last 10 years
Yeah.
in Disney and being the CEO of this company.
I mean, he took over in
I mean-
2005, and their stocks have steadily risen from 2000. If you look at the chart from 2005 till today, they've done there's the typical dips and
Well, of
raises,
course.
but overall from 2005 to now, it's just a straight shot all the way up.
Yep.
I mean, this is the man that oversaw the acquisition of Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Fox
Gosh
Studios,
sakes.
Disney
Disney Plus,
Plus.
yeah.
It's like he has done.
Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Did you say Lucas?
Yeah, I mentioned
I'm
Lucasfilm,
sorry,
yeah.
I didn't hear you.
And it's like, I mean, honestly, I don't know of any other CEO other than Walt Disney himself that has really done as much for Disney as Bob Iger has.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, especially since his predecessor.
Well, I
and-
mean, my especially like with the way things went with Michael Eisner and
Yeah.
like what they considered some of the dark days of Disney, because they felt like Eisner really destroyed creativity at Disney, and Bob Iger brought it back. I mean, to some extent, yes, we have the live action reboots that are
Yeah.
not creative
well,
for the most
I was
part.
gonna say,
but
let's be honest about he spurred a lot of the originality that we see in Disney today,
Mhm.
and the creativity only because again he knew that it would needed to be a lively, healthy, growing business. And so he's made smart business choices. And
Yeah.
I think that's what you see with all these acquisitions.
Yeah.
He truly is stepping down at a time where he knows he's going out on top. I think what's catching everybody by surprise is he announced last year at their shareholders meeting that he would be stepping down or retiring in 2021.
That's
So
when
everybody
his
was
contract
when
expires. yeah.
exactly. And so everybody was expecting that to kind of be his swan song up to that point. Well, no, it turns out he's now handing things down to the chief creative officer of the parks and the product line and experiences there.
He's going to be the
Bob
new CEO.
Chapek. Bob Chapek. So I think, for one, obviously, there's nothing but positive that has so far come from the Bob Iger reign
Mhm.
and the regime.
And he's going to remain on the board
he's
as
gonna be
as the chief executive of the board.
Yes.
until
Yeah.
2021.
He's not leaving
yeah.
the company.
He wants to transit. He stated that he wanted to still be there to transition like Bob Chapek into the role, but he wanted to step down because he felt like he wanted to get into the creative side of Disney. He wanted to help with that, and he felt that he could not do that as CEO running the day to day. So with him being able to step down now, he feels that he can help do more creative things
Yeah.
with Disney. No one knows what that is yet, but I am looking forward to that because I do think Bob Iger does have a creative mind. Obviously, with what the things we've seen, it always makes you nervous when you hear of like a new like when Steve Jobs passed and Tim. Like anytime you have like a huge conglomerate like that
Yeah.
that you're fond of, like people are with Disney, and you hear, oh, the leadership's changing. It's a scary thought because it's
Yep.
like you don't know where it's going to
Well,
go.
and you always have, that tension of, say, second, third generation.
Yeah.
You always think that the longer that time goes on and the further removed you are from that first generation, the one who truly loved. I mean, when you get away from Walt Disney,
Yeah.
It's even like his brother was leading it for a while.
Roy
without him.
Disney, and
Roy
it
Disney
still
took it on.
It floundered, and then Michael Eisner came aboard, and
it's
it did
like-
have a
it
boom.
had a resurgence.
They had a boon in the '90s, but he kept like just that grip tight and like killing creativity, and you saw that he sank what originally was going an upward trend.
Yep.
I mean, after I'd say the mid '90s, the
Well, and
Disney
here's
movie
the
started.
question. We were
declining.
talking about, I think even Sean, you had brought it up a little bit earlier tonight, about how the parks themselves have been on a not downward turn in terms of spiraling out.
Well, they opened
dwindled
Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars
Yeah.
thing, and it didn't turn out. I mean,
At
people didn't
first,
turn out
they
at first the way
said
they
it's
thought.
Doing well now.
Yeah,
but
it's coming up, but they had. Iger's responsible of opening the Disney park in Shanghai,
Yeah.
and they've had 11 million people come through there so far. So that's. I mean, I don't think the parks and stuff is. I think there was
they're not in danger.
They're not in danger,
but
no. But they did see a drop
Yeah.
with the. They saw a drop when they opened the Avatar, the Pandora
Right.
thing. But the Star Wars was one that I think they were like hoping for this huge explosion, and it never,
And
it
I
didn't
think-
really
I think
happen.
they
It's steadily
obviously-
increasing, but
they still have ideas for expansion in
yeah,
that regard.
yeah.
They're not just opening the park
Well, they're
and it just
doing
stays that way.
And I mean, I'm really intrigued by this. I'd love to do this, but they're opening like a hotel in the Star Wars section that like is specifically catered to the moment you step into the doors of the hotel. It's like you're on a spaceship and you're on a hotel in space.
Yeah.
Like
That's
the
cool.
whole experience makes you feel like you're in space on a ship rather than in like a hotel in the middle of a park.
That's
and it's like
pretty
that would be
awesome.
really
Neat,
cool.
Yeah.
But see, I also think it's interesting because the new CEO, Bob Chapek,
Yeah.
is
It's
the-
Bob Iger, it's like
Bob Chapek.
they're
But
just changing Bobs.
He's the creative, person over the parks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now CEO. So if they're picking someone to kind of take the reins, why would they be picking from a part that quite possibly is maybe the weakest of their pickings right now.
He's
I mean,
not,
why not
he's
go
not
with
just
the cheap
over the part.
creative
He's
on it?
over merchandise like toys and
yeah.
figures and all
True.
and games and all that kind of stuff. So
He seems
I
to be
think-
like a good like day-to-day guy, which is like what Bob Iger had mentioned.
Yeah.
Because it seems like this transition period, and I'm just reading between lines here. I have no credibility on this. It's just what I think is. It seems to me like they're picking like we'll stick with Chapek for now, like for a day-to-day thing, and Iger's still going to be in the reins, helping with some creativity things, and it feels like they're going to do some reshuffling.
I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah.
What is the real motivation behind Iger? Do you think it's just getting out on top? I mean, he's had a stellar
Possibly.
report card.
I mean, he
he's
is.
I mean, like he
Well,
said,
he's
he even
older in
mentioned
age.
why not just wait till 2021? My question is,
Yeah.
if that was when he was originally going to kind of step back and retire, why do it a year early? Because we're still at the beginning of 2020. It almost seems to me as there's something that he knows that we don't. That maybe
Well-
he's trying to get out while they're on an all-time high.
and that could be the
because he could, what's
that could
what's
be
going
like
to happen?
the conspiratorial, But
Could
here's the other
be,
thing.
but
He
I think-
mentions in his kind of reason for stepping down was because after the acquisition with 20th Century Fox and then with Disney Plus launch, he thought
They're in a good place,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
in a good place. Like those are two huge things
Yeah.
that he led them through, and now it's kind of at a point where it's like, okay, whatever the next big decisions are, I'm passing the torch.
Yeah.
Okay,
And so
then-
I mean, I think
I
maybe-
agree. I'm not trying to start a
Right.
rumor or conspiracy. I'm just wondering why not just go ahead. Why wouldn't 2021 be any higher than right now?
Well, and what intrigues me about that is he said that he wanted to get involved with some of the creative stuff, and I have a feeling maybe he still plans on ultimately retiring, and he wanted to like at least for the meantime get into that groove of okay, now we're setting Chapek up to run the company, and I can spend this 22 months is what he has left,
yeah.
True.
helping invigorate more creative things, so that when I finally retire at the
or
end,
hell, just
they're
learning how to
fully
run
set.
the company.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, hell, it could be just he's
Yeah.
like trying to give him the reins to just say, "Hey, now you got to go
Don't
at it while
screw
I'm
it
still
up."
here."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I can step in and help, that transition process.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is what I think is going on, but I think it is understandably sad to see Bob Iger go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's weird because with him already talking about it, and then I even thought it was odd when he brought out the book. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but I was just kind of
It
like, man,
seemed
that was
like-
a little hubris to be like, what I learned and look at what I did at Disney for the
Yeah.
last 10 years, and I'm great.
It seemed weird
know,
while
I
he was
just-
still CEO, but
Yeah.
now that it's retiring, it's almost like did he have this planned all along? It's like I'm gonna release this book and then wait a little bit and then step down. It almost seems like he had this goal
Yep.
in mind that he just kind of kept to himself. So
True, and I guess we'll see. Time will tell. I honestly don't think it's going to be necessarily a bad thing
No.
because of his leadership and because at this point in time, I feel like he has brought Disney into such a, it's shown such longevity in just the last few years of having a roadmap. I mean, even one of Warren Buffett's reasons for investing in Apple, even though he took out like 800 million in shares, the fact is it's like when you see a company having a track record and you see its track record on the up and up, but you can see a clear definition as to what their projection is for the company,
Yeah.
that's usually what makes it safe to invest in. And I think Bob Iger's done that with the purchases he's made and with the so far success that we've seen from all of his business ventures at Disney.
And yeah, and I think they'll stay in a good. I think if they learn from Iger, because I think one thing Iger was great at is knowing, and even still, I mean, there's been hiccups along the way. I'm gonna say he was 100% perfect, but I mean, he was good at knowing at who to put in charge at what time and when. Just like letting Kevin Feige run the MCU, and then ultimately putting Kevin Feige as the chief creative officer over all of Marvel. It's like I think Bob Iger was good at not micromanaging everything, but putting
Right.
the key players in place.
Absolutely.
And I think
as any good manager
and I think if
can.
he teaches
Yeah.
that to Chap, because that's what Michael Eisner was terrible at. He tried to control every aspect and every minute detail of Disney, and he ran into the ground. I think if Bob Iger can impart that wisdom onto Chapek as, find the right people
Yeah.
to lead, I think they'll be fine.
And he seemed like the kind of guy that, his job is done at Disney, and I kind of want to go on to see what other challenges lay ahead.
yeah.
And I think he kind of is a true businessman in that sense. He kind of wants to see what other I think he has a heart and a soul for Disney. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been there as long as he was
Yeah.
and been as invested.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be anywhere you go as a CEO.
He's been CEO
but
for 15 years. Yeah.
And I think he's truly seen it as, I don't have anything else left to prove. I've proven that I have led us into, a great future at Disney, and now it's up to somebody else to steer the ship.
Yep.
And I'm willing to pass that torch. So we'll see in the coming months and years ahead as to
absolutely.
what this really truly means for Disney. It is yet again the turning of the tide. I think we're on maybe is this 5 generations now? Is this the 5th generation with Bob as CEO? Bob Chapek?
I'm 5th or 6th. I have to double check because I think there was a very brief one actually in between Eisner and Iger.
Okay.
He didn't last very long at all, but I think Cliff something was the name. And I could be wrong about that. He may have just been kind of like
An interim.
an interim, yeah. But I'll double check that. But yeah, you had Walt, Roy, Michael, Iger, and now Chapek definitely as like the most major CEOs of Disney. So
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see in the coming years, months, and years ahead. All right, guys. I think are we ready to move on to our vices?
yeah.
Let's hit it.
That's smooth. I like that.
You do just that little breath of. It's like smoke. That's what I was going for. That was my creative genius. There.
Ooh.
Smoking a cigar like we were doing tonight.
Yeah.
Got to thank Brian again.
Yep.
For inviting us over.
Good times.
Smoking. We had our good buddy Brad with us too.
Mm.
Smoking a cigar before the show.
Eating that chili pie. he
That
makes.
chili pie.
That's good stuff.
We had another word for it, but I don't know if we can say that. Keith.
Nope,
No,
we
we're not.
can't.
We're not going to say that on air.
Nope.
Not gonna say that on air.
That's censored.
No, can't do it.
All right, guys, we got our vices topic. Now, many of you all, some, not all, may be celebrating Lent. Today is Mardi Gras, so it is it's Fat Tuesday, right before Ash Wednesday tomorrow, and Lent begins, and you give stuff up. So that brought about the
Every
question.
Tuesday for me is Fat Tuesday.
I was gonna say every day for me is Mardi Gras.
Whoa, we can't show that.
Oh man,
we gotta
put
censor
a
that.
blurb on that.
Oh no,
Bleep that out.
Red Moon Podcast gone wild, man. Woo.
I don't know what to think anymore. I'm just gonna go home.
You couldn't see it. I
mean, you
mean,
couldn't.
You couldn't see it.
Oh,
But here, you don't know. I could have
in
been
that
on. I
case,
could have been on the wide.
I think we
shot.
should do
No.
it again.
I think
Nope, it's not happening again.
Keith,
Your turn.
you're up.
No. I will one day just randomly pull out a truffle shuffle and no
Oh, I
one's gonna
thought you
know.
were gonna pull out
Yes.
something else.
No, but until that day,
So what's our vices segment?
Hold on. First, I want to say. I
What?
just want to say, we've all taken our pants off on the show.
Mm.
nobody
So-
saw that.
True, but still, why not take our shirts off too?
We could, but I don't. Right now, I
We
don't see the
could.
point.
True. All right.
Yeah.
You're
One
right.
day there'll be a perfect moment, and it'll
Yes.
happen.
Well, it's part of.
But it's
I'm
not a
not
perfect
going
moment.
to.
Magic moment.
Yeah.
When your shirts come off.
That's it. I
Let's
like
do
that
it.
lyric. All I know is that's what I'm giving
is
up
that
for
your,
Lent.
your shirts?
Oh.
You're gonna go shirtless?
know, but
for-
I'm giving that up.
Thinking of the song makes me
I
want to
wonder
go
if
watch
you
The
could do
Sandlot.
that.
I know with Wendy
Yes.
Peppercorn.
Yes.
Heck yes.
Mhm.
That'd be interesting. Like, because I mean, obviously, you go to work, you have to have a shirt on. Could they fire you if you're just like, I gave up shirts for Lent? I mean, it's a religious thing. It's like, can they?
Yeah.
I mean,
It
In
probably
Kentucky,
can.
they can fire you
I
for
feel,
anything.
I feel like
That's true.
you could still sue though. It don't matter. Like, I mean, because we
you
had the
could
thing.
sue, but you're not going to win.
No, you can. Like, we had a thing with like when I worked for the restaurant I worked with. It's like, even though Kentucky's like technically like you could fire for anything with no fault state, like
Yeah.
it's still one of those things that you get caught up in legal that they don't want to pay, so they still don't do it. They abide by like companies are very cautious about stuff like that because they don't want to have to
I
pay the
highly
fees.
doubt they're going to
Yeah.
allow you. I mean,
Oh no, they wouldn't allow you. I'm just
I mean,
saying
they're just
that
gonna be like,
it
you
would
go
be
home
interesting. I feel like you can
and
fight
we'll
it.
not pay you for
Yeah.
working.
Oh yeah,
and we
definitely.
won't fire you.
It would
You
just
come
be
back
fun.
when Lent's over and
Yeah,
wear your
40
shirt.
days
It'd be
without
very
pay.
yeah. That would be actually what would happen. It's like, well, okay, you can
I'm
not
giving
work
up
the entire
money
time.
for Lent. I'm just not going to work.
There you go.
But it is, the root of all evil. So
Well, that's kind of what we're talking about. No, not the root of all evil. But what is something hard to give up?
Candy. Hard candy.
Ooh,
crack cocaine.
No, I'm just kidding. You said something hard to give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is
Like I meant something hard.
to
like-
give up
Yeah.
to like little children.
Maybe not crack cocaine then. Crystal meth. It's harder.
How do you know?
He just goes straight to the
Because
drugs.
it's got the hard. I've seen Breaking Bad. They're like crystals.
I've seen
I've
Breaking
seen
Bad.
Breaking Bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
cocaine's a powder, and
Crack cocaine is not a powder.
oh, it's a rock. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
Gosh.
But
Y'all knew
coke
more.
is a powder.
You knew more about that than I did.
I need to know
So I'm
the
not a druggie.
density of
Of
crack cocaine versus
methamphetamines.
crystal meth.
Yeah, crystal meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
This is not where
Somebody-
you thought the
Well,
vices
no.
segment was going to go,
No,
was
I
it?
didn't. I didn't know we were going to start
So,
off
so
with
who's going to
drugs.
start? What's something that you find difficult to give up?
Yeah, we're obviously not giving
change the
up
word.
drugs because we're,
Yeah.
we're still.
Or we're not giving up Breaking Bad. Maybe that's what you want to
True.
say.
Better Call Saul, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I honestly don't know yet. There's
Okay.
a lot for me, but because I don't know. It's hard. I want to say like sweets.
Brandon has so many vices that he couldn't give anything.
Yeah,
up.
He
yeah,
can't do
that's-
it.
yeah,
He
that's what
just
it
Mine
know.
is really selfish.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
I find it the most difficult to give up me time because I don't get a lot of it. So when I am going to have it or I do get it, I don't want to sacrifice it for anybody.
I gotcha.
Hmm.
What constitutes me time?
Like, I mean, just any, like if I want to watch a movie, I don't want to give that time up. If I want to play a video game or if I want to come over here and hang
Yep.
out or go see a movie or whatever it may be, like if it's time away from like
what it is you already have
away
in
from the
mind?
day to day to just have time for myself, like if I have that, I don't like to give it up.
I mean, I understand that because I'm introverted, and there's just times where it's like I don't want
Wanna
to
be
deal with
alone.
people.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
just
like
wanna be
I just
alone.
want to. So I get like, literally, I get angry if like I'm forced into a situation where I have to interact with people and I'm not feeling
Yeah.
up to it, and I'm just like I'm a butthead sometimes, and I've gotten better about it, but I definitely was way worse in the past. But I do know plenty of times in my past where like I was just a hole all day because I had to interact with people.
Mhm.
You had those moments you had to recharge.
I'm just like,
You didn't have
I
that
don't
chance.
want to talk to people.
Yeah.
I find it hard to give up on my dreams.
Water almost came out my nose.
It's like, but I have to because
Wow.
because
I'm never going to amount to anything anyway. It's like life decided for me that my dreams aren't going to happen.
No, I find it extremely hard. I will say, like sweets and stuff. Like I've even found that within just like the last year alone, I kind of got out of. I was in a really healthy regiment of running, and just in the last like I don't know, summertime hit, and I was just kind of like, it was hot. I didn't want to run,
Yeah.
so I found the excuse not to. So I kind of fell out of running. Tried to do it a few more times in the fall. Wasn't great. And I started backing off that. And then it was like I started gorging myself on just eating. And it's like being a glutton. And it's
Yeah.
like I have a hard time whenever there's like free food.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
You know, I'm like, no, I can't pass this up. And then I try to be like, I got to make up for the fact that this is free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to eat as much as I can. And so it's,
Well,
it's bad.
I was gonna add on top of that because for me it's not necessarily sweets, but junk food in general. Like I don't care. I mean, I'm not big on sweets. Like I don't have to have sweets, but like chips or salsa, spicy stuff. I love
Yep.
spicy stuff.
Mhm.
So it's like that stuff I completely understand. The hardest part is like what goes along into that is when you don't have when you're poor and you can't afford certain
Yes.
things. Healthy eating's very hard because
Yes,
it's not
it
cheap.
is.
Yeah.
Like 99-cent hot dogs. Yeah, I mean it's cheap. It's like you go to,
Yeah.
and it's like it's terrible for you, but they're 99 cents at the
That's right.
grocery store.
Bar S.
Oh my
The
I
old
mean,
bar ass hot dog.
Ramen noodles, you pay a couple bucks, you get 12 packs of ramen noodles.
No, that
Yeah.
ain't no lie. Ramen noodles is where it's at.
And,
Yeah.
and it's like, and like you
That's-
said, when you go somewhere and they got free food, it's like, I can't afford food for
gotta
myself.
watch
I'm
that.
going to eat everything.
You gotta watch the ramen though. It's got coronavirus in it.
Well,
you
we're
gotta be
all
careful
we've
of
all
that.
got to
Right.
watch out for that coronavirus. It's
Yeah.
coming. We don't talk about the real news, but we are. CDC said warnings out.
We'll start
So-
talking about it when it affects movie making.
There was
Yeah.
there was a brief stint. I'm
Exactly.
sorry, I was just thinking about this going back. There was a brief like used to like when people were like take stuff home with you. It's like I hated that. I was like I don't want to ever take anything home. But there was like a couple months there
Oh.
when people said here take this home if you want. I was like I'll take that.
Yes.
It's like I'm poor. I can't afford groceries. I'm gonna take whatever you give me.
Yeah.
Dude, my parents are like that
It was
now.
around the Boston trip, honestly,
Yes.
where like I was really hurting for money, and when people were like, "Here, you want to take this home with you?" I was like,
Yes, I do.
I
Sure.
will.
I want to.
Got
I mean,
a bag?
that's my meal for the. I'm not gonna tell you, but that's my meal for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't take this home, I'm not gonna eat.
had
it.
Yeah, you're like, I might eat that one night, but
couple reunions.
reality, it's like that's gonna
Yeah.
feed me for a
That's
while.
gonna feed
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
No, thankfully, I'm not in that. It was kind of the same time. Boston hurt, but
Sorry, Neil.
Yeah.
No
no,
offense. Not
no,
knocking
we
it.
loved being
It's
up
all
there.
Neil's
Yeah.
fault for getting married.
Yeah.
Just had some poor moments. I just remember like family reunion on my mom's side, family reunion on my dad's side,
Taking
all,
as
like,
much food as
the
you can get.
potluck. They're like, we're getting rid of this food. Okay.
Thank you.
But no, I mean, yeah, I would say like it is like same thing. Fast food for me is the hardest because it's like I don't want to. I mean, my schedule is so jam packed now that it's just like I try to find as much time as I can to do the things that I want to do. And
See,
a lot
that's me time.
and yeah, but it's like it's me time, but sometimes that me time is sparsed out to like responsibilities that I can't let
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, whether it's work or getting stuff done for the podcast or doing the website.
Yeah.
And it's like the biggest thing I can give up is like, okay, I'm not going to cook. I'll just run and grab something real quick.
Yeah.
And then it'll be a guilty pleasure because I'll be like, oh, this is so good. And then I'll be feeling like garbage later because I'm eating junk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And trust me, it's like I have felt it in the last few months of just
Oh, yeah.
getting my weight back up, not running. And it was like, I mean, even just your sleep isn't as good.
Mhm.
And I would say that's probably. Keith's got a grin over there.
I was just Neil responded with, "Sorry, I ruined you all financially." I'm like, I'm sorry, you did not ruin us financially.
You did not, Neil. You did not ruin us.
No, he didn't.
We
No.
willingly loved to partake.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And it was just, hey, it was.
I was gonna
absolutely
go to
fun.
Boston even if I went bankrupt. So I mean, priorities, man.
Yeah, that's right.
And you are a
It
priority.
didn't hurt me.
Neil.
My wife paid for everything. so.
But no, I don't know. Other than that, I know I'm gonna think of another good one that I can't come up. With right up the top
that
of my
happens
head.
sometimes because it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I feel like junk food is like the easy, safe one, but I know that's the biggest one in
Yeah.
my mind. That it's like that would be hard to like, give up certain things. Like I mean, I could give up cake and cookies, but
Yeah.
I can't do that.
like Doritos are hard.
Yeah. That's true.
Yep.
Man,
It's like you can't
Sean,
have
you
any
ain't got
more
nothing
Doritos.
else.
No, I
That's
don't.
it.
That's
Your
I
me
mean,
time. That was
There's
a,
a
good
lot
one.
of other things that I can easily give up.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't like to, but it's not like I find them extremely difficult to give up. But it's
Yeah.
like when I have that time, like
Yeah.
just to myself or time to do what I want to do for a change, I don't like to sacrifice that at
well,
all.
I know that my neighbor Brian, his wife, is giving up social media for Lent,
Yeah.
and she is obviously. That's the thing. Like
I
for
could do
someone like
that one.
that, she's always on there, kind of, and it can be like a little, you just constantly keep updating
Yeah.
it. I'm at the point now. It's like, yeah, I just don't. I need to for the business purposes, but
Yeah.
social's
See,
not
I
as
like
big
being a
for me.
Baptist because
Yep.
we don't do Lent.
See,
Just don't do that.
See, social media is one that like I think I would be fine without social media, but then if you said like you couldn't have like my iPad at all, then I might be like, it's like I don't need
Ooh.
social media, but I like surfing the internet on my iPad while
Okay,
watching
see,
random
now-
stuff on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Now you
So
brought up a
it's
good
like,
one. Where
yeah.
it's like if I had to give up technology,
Yeah,
that'd be pretty hard.
it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
Just because
You
I'm
can
like
only use
all
your-
of this stuff.
like if they said you could only use your phone to make phone calls, I'm gonna be like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
I need that for when I poo.
Yeah.
I can't go to the bathroom.
That's what I
without
would say. Like
something
80%
entertaining.
of the me time that I talk about is going to involve some form of technology.
Yeah.
Because if I can't watch TV with that free time,
Yep.
or play Death Stranding now, that y'all got me
Yeah.
roped into that.
Such a
Got
good
you hooked
game.
on.
Yeah,
Great
but
game.
I mean, all of those things, other than fishing. Fishing is like the only other thing that is just like when I'm if the fishing's good, I'm not willing to, like, I'll miss birthdays to go fishing. Like, I mean, if it's like you need to be home in an hour because your son's having a birthday party,
Right,
if the fish are biting, I'm kind of like 5 more minutes.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that's
Keep pushing it back.
Yeah, I'll push it back. That's one of those things where once I'm there and in the zone, I don't give that up either.
That's a
It's
good
really
one.
difficult.
That's
But that's
actually-
part of me time, so I
Yeah.
can't really.
Man,
That's a wide range of things.
that's a good one. Well, what if some of our viewers out there have something hard that they don't want? Do they have any comments? Has anybody said whether or not they've got
I mean, Brian
Brian
mentioned
says
Kristen giving
fast
up
food.
social
the social?
media,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but,
It's
yeah.
like-
Any,
I would
anybody?
say anybody. Throw it
know?
out there. But if not, you
Or
can
you can
always
email us.
email us.
Mhm.
It's easy to email us. And now we have a form on our website, believe it or not. That is
What?
for that very email.
That's cray cray.
That's I know, isn't that it's technology.
I know. We
And
can't
that's
give
why I
it
didn't
up.
give it up.
We
you
can't
know?
give it up.
We can't. We got to stay in touch with everybody.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing here on the Red Moon Podcast, right there at the bottom of your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not even pointing at the right thing. 'cause
which
it's-
screen
my-
is it?
What
It's
are
on
you
the it's on
pointing
the
at?
wide screen now.
What are you pointing at?
I don't know, Keith. Why don't you tell us?
RMPodcast at redmoonproductions.com.
That's it. You
Hmm.
got it.
Nice. Same as our website.
Yeah.
right? Or no,
RedMoonProductions.com.
Red Moon Production. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
It all fits together so
Except-
nicely.
Seamlessly.
You have to add on RMPodcast
RM
at
podcast.
in front of it.
That's right.
Yeah, RMPodcast at redmoonproductions.com.
Snazzy, man.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
Mm.
RM Podcast at redmoonproductions.com.
Yep.
As always, guys, you can always check us out on all of our social YouTube,
Yes.
Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
Snapchat,
Please,
Twitter.
please check out our YouTube. The website has links to all of the
All of
old
our
stuff
social.
that Red Moon's
Yeah.
done. All of our new
You can
reviews.
See a blast to our
Tinseltown
past.
Trivia is going to be on there eventually. Like all this
Yep.
great stuff.
Mm.
Please get on YouTube and watch some of that stuff. Like it, subscribe, do all that good stuff because we're trying to build
Comments.
our YouTube up as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's what the
absolutely.
website has been for.
Boom.
Yeah, it's
It's
like,
out
you know,
now.
we've had all this great stuff and all this great content, and we've done so well, but now that we have a website, we finally feel real to me.
Right.
It's like we're actually
We
legitimate.
actually got our living
We're in the
place on
money
web.
now.
It's
we have an
like,
address on the web, you know.
We're there. So just check it out.
So don't give us up for Lent. Come back every week.
Never gonna give you
Oh,
up.
gosh.
man.
no.
Rick rolled.
Rick rolled them. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Red Moon Podcast. As always, thank you for joining us. And until next time, I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
And
Keith Cheatham.
so until next time, we will
See you at the movies.
We got it.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For more reviews, previous podcast shows, and everything Red Moon, visit our website, redmoonproductions.com. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for Red Moon Productions, LLC. We'll see you at the movies.